Hey everybody, so I wanted to give kind of a quick first impressions and early review of a new VR FPS game called Frostpoint VR. And you can also sign up to play on the beta. I'll leave a link down below. And if you complete 10 matches, then you can get entered to win a chance to have the game for free. So I wanted to tell you about that, and this is also the first kind of game review that I'm doing on my channel. So let me know how you like that and if you want me to continue these. So anyways, what is Frostpoint VR Proving Grounds? It's a 20-player team-based multiplayer shooter that pits two sides against each other in a high-intensity PvP matches, including things like Conquest and Team Deathmatch, with a unique PvE twist. So like I said, I had the chance to play it. It's a bit like Pavlov, Half-Life, Alex, and Halo kind of combined into one game. And what do I think of it? So I'll start with the graphics. The pros are this has some of the best VR FPS graphics out of any other game I've played. It's Onward, I would say, had probably slightly better graphics, but it looks better than Pavlov. And it has a unique twist, that being like the future versus aliens aesthetic. So I really enjoyed the graphics. The guns also look great. They're very detailed models. It has a really interesting HUD as well. You can customize it. You can even have like a full HUD interface, so it kind of feels like you're wearing a helmet. But you can turn that off, and even just the basic HUD is very cool. Like I said, kind of feels like Halo. The sprinting feels great. They have wind lines, so when you're sprinting in the game, it feels very cool, and I really enjoyed that. Some of the cons with the graphics is the environments did look a bit sameish after a while. They're very detailed, but there's only 3 maps at the moment, and they all have kind of the same white frost look to them, which it makes sense for what the game is going for. But it did get kind of old after like the 8th or 9th match that I played. And the PvE enemies, so like I said, the gameplay, it's like you face off, you have your team, and you have to capture different points. I did Conquest, that's the one that I played the most. And then you'll get into like interesting situations. So you could be like firing at an enemy player, and then a monster will come, like spawn and start running at you, and then you both have to fight the monster, or it's gonna kill one of you, or just let it kill the enemy team, or it might attack you. So that was a fun aspect, but there's only 2 PvE enemy types. So there's like a big, like I don't know how to describe it, like a monster-looking thing, and then there's like a flying enemy, and they didn't look super detailed. They were kind of cool, but I felt like they maybe should like make them bigger or more intimidating, and I'll get into that in the gameplay in a little bit. But they looked kind of basic. They were cool looking, especially like there's some areas where you'll see like they're gonna spawn out of like these egg things that will explode. But I feel like they maybe could make them a little bit buffer or something, just to kind of make it a bit more interesting. Yeah, but as far as the graphics, the effects, particles and everything, they looked fantastic as I was playing it. All the guns look really awesome when you're shooting and stuff. Yeah. So moving on to gameplay, kind of covered this in graphics, but the shooting feels great. It's pretty accurate. I really enjoyed the shooting. There's like haptic feedback on the controllers when you're shooting, and that was super fun. There's a lot of interesting guns and weapons. My favorite when I was playing was the energy weapons, like the energy pistol. And then there's a lot of interesting like side things that you can get, like shields and grenades. And like I said, it is kind of like Half-Life Alyx. They have a really cool inventory system where if you've played Half-Life Alyx, you can like store stuff on the ends of your controllers, and you can kind of do the same thing here. So you can store like your shield. I was using it on my left hand, so if you have it free, you could press the trigger and have like a shield, and then you can have an energy pistol which auto reloads by itself, which that's the best gun that I used. And you can just start shooting and covering yourself with a shield. You can also dual wield pistols. They have like huge machine guns, which you can use with both hands. So yeah, that was great, and all the side stuff is cool. Like you have an add-on that you can buy. So at your home base, you get money throughout the match, and then you get more money by shooting enemy players or monsters, and then you can upgrade your stuff by buying new guns and things like that. So that was a fun aspect to it. I enjoyed that, and it's all 3D, unlike Pavlov's system where you have like this weird menu and you have to go through when you're buying stuff. This was all like done in a 3D environment. So to get something, you just go out and you grip it with the controllers, and you have the gun. Now the PvPvE thing, I covered this before, but that it creates really interesting scenarios where you're like running through and you'll have to fight like monsters and you don't really know who is on, like if you're fighting a monster like an enemy player. So it's kind of like you can work together with your enemies a little bit. So that was fun. Um, the maps are large, so there's only 3 maps, but they were fairly big. And you have different points that you can control. So on each map, there's 3 points, and you can spawn at those points to kind of advance. So normal conquest type stuff, and they're all pretty fun, kind of like a post-apocalyptic Halo-ish type of game. So that was cool, and I covered this before, but the sprinting did feel great. There's lots of different options for customization on locomotion. All right, some of the cons. There is a small player base right now, which that makes sense. This is early beta. It came out not too long ago. I think on Monday is when they started the early beta, and they're obviously going to improve it. It only goes until the 17th, so it's a small player base. Now, adding on to that, the AI bots are absolutely terrible. It's some of the worst AI that I've seen in games. Pavlov and Onward and all these other FPS shooters, they have better AI. This AI I mean, I don't want to be mean, but the AI is stupid. Like they'll just stand in one spot, they won't shoot at you, and then you'll just like die randomly because I don't know what's going on with the engine, but maybe the AI shot at you and I didn't see it. But the AI bots are terrible. PvE enemies are much better. They do have better AI. Like they'll actually be able to go around with the pathfinding and they'll be able to shoot at you like a normal enemy would. But they're super weak, so they end up just kind of being annoying, and not any kind of real threat. You can deal with them super easily. So I would love it if this studio buffs the enemy monsters and makes them like a real threat to players. Maybe not add as many, or just kind of just make them scarier. Make them like physically bigger too. Like they're kind of tiny, and they're super weak. So I'd prefer it if they did make them bigger and just more intense to fight, instead of just the annoyance that they are right now. Another con, only 3 maps, so it does get old. I played all 10 matches in a row, and by the end I was kind of bored with the same 3 places. That might have been due to the terrible AI. I think one match we had like almost a full team of actual players, and that ended up being kind of fun. But if you're in a match with like you or 1 or 2 people and then a bunch of AI, it just ends up being really boring because the AI is very stupid. And then reloading on some of the guns feels really wonky. Like it's kind of weird to reload. You have to press the button. And it kind of works similar to other VR shooters, but it felt off to me with at least some of the guns. Like I don't remember the exact name of them, but like the normal pistol. The energy weapons feel great. I really like how those worked, but like normal guns felt kind of off. And the holster system was really annoying to use, particularly the handguns. Like I tried the holster a lot of times, and the holsters on my handguns just weren't working, and the gun would just like disappear and just like fade off into the distance. The bigger guns did work, so you store bigger guns over your back like you would in any other VR shooter, and then you can store the pistols on your holsters. But they need to fix the holstering system for pistols because it wasn't working for me. I didn't know how it worked. Like I tried just putting it on my hip, or I tried even like there's an ammo thing, and I tried holstering it, but like it didn't work half the time. So I don't know if that was my issue or it's just an issue with the game. But that's something to note. And then the disappearing weapons was super annoying. Other than that, I really did enjoy the gameplay a lot. So moving on to sound. Not a whole lot to say. The sound was great. overall. All the gun sounds were really good. Particularly like the energy weapon shields and those energy pistols and the energy guns. They sounded awesome. And you can even like charge up the energy weapons. And it'll make like this huge explosion. You can even like kill yourself by doing that. The HUD sounds cool. There's like a robot AI lady that speaks to you at every match. She's like, "You have 5 minutes remaining." The sound was really good. I haven't had any huge problems with the sounds, except for the PVE enemies. So the monsters, they sounded alright. The guns, they like shoot these little orbs at you. Those sounded cool, but they just weren't scary enough. Like I'd like it if they made them actually intimidating, and sound like a real threat. They were just kind of boring. And maybe like add some more aesthetic sounds. It was kind of basic. I mean, when you're running through foot sounds and the wind and stuff, they sound great, but I don't know, maybe just add a little bit more there. Cool. So overall impressions, and do I think this is worth playing? If you're looking for a fun FPS shooter that's similar to Pavlov, but you want like a futuristic Halo-ish Half-Life Alyx Fallout aesthetic, then yeah, I would say during the beta period, absolutely. I don't really feel comfortable giving this like a score or anything because it is early beta, it's in early access. But I would say, yeah, you should try this out. For the time being, I don't know what it's going to be priced at, but at the moment, if you sign up, it is free. And then if you play 10 matches and you're one of the first 3,000 people per week, they're doing this for, I think, 3 weeks, they are going to give you a free copy of it. So, yeah, I would say jump in, see if you can get into some matches. Try to wait around for real people because that's when I was actually having some fun. Because if they release this, I really hope that they fix that bot AI because it was the worst part of playing. Just because the bots. Oh, and then don't do team deathmatch because it seems like everyone is doing conquest. That's where the wider player base is. Team deathmatch, I did one of those, and it ended up being terrible. So don't even bother with the team deathmatch until this becomes a popular game. I was just running around for like 20 minutes and shooting stuff, and it just wasn't fun. Yeah, for Conquest, it was pretty good. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this tiny review. Let me know if you want me to review like other smallish, unknown VR games. Yeah, have a great rest of your day.